All right, if you want to make more money, improve your sex life, and build a better physique, then watch this video because I'm going to show you how to do that and much, much more with the amazing power of meditation. Let's go. All right, so I've been meditating for over 10 years now, and I've noticed it's helped me in a variety of ways. And the 3 ways we're gonna focus on in this video is 1, how it helps reduce stress and how that benefits you, reducing stress so you can deal with adversity better. But it also helps improve focus. The more you can focus, the more you can concentrate, accomplish things, make more money, have more success in life. But probably the most important benefit I get from meditation is something I like to call state control. Being able to control your state, right? No matter the circumstances. And when I say your state, I mean your state of being, like how happy you are or sad, your emotional state. Imagine being able to control your state and feel how you want to feel regardless of circumstances, regardless of what's going on in your environment or what's going on in your life. Being able to control your state makes you more resilient, helps you accomplish more. But to help me explain this to you guys, I brought on 3 of my friends and mentors. One of them is my meditation mentor, my meditation coach, Emily Fletcher. She wrote an amazing book called Stress Less, Accomplish More, which was really like the best book ever written on meditation, in my opinion. Then we have my personal business mentor, Matt Gallant. He was my business mentor back when I was making almost no money, and he helped me get to 7 figures. He also mentored me as I went past 7 figures into multi-7 figures, and right now he's helping me build an 8-figure business because he's already done it, and he's gonna explain how meditation helped him make more money, helped him accomplish more things in business. And finally, we're gonna talk to my buddy, Ben Pakulski. Ben is one of the greatest bodybuilders of our generation. He's competed and won championships, and he's gonna talk about how meditation actually helps you with bodybuilding, how it can actually help you improve your physique. All right, so let's talk about the benefits you can expect from meditation. And I'd like Emily Fletcher to explain the benefits she's seen in both herself and the thousands and thousands of people she's trained in meditation.
What are some of the benefits that you've seen in meditation practitioners or the people you've taught or your students? What are some of the like tangible benefits that people can receive?
So I've taught over 40,000 people, and then the book has been translated into 14 languages around the world. So it's really exciting to see people from all different walks of life, all different ages, starting to adopt the Ziva method. And what I've seen is that I'd say across the board, sleep gets better. So sleep latency improves, which is how fast you fall asleep, which is a big marker of health. The depth of your sleep gets deeper, so the amount of time that you need in sleep decreases. People say migraines are basically a thing of the past. A lot of people say their sex gets better. And this is not something that I used to talk about, but now I hear it so much, the feedback that people's sex drive increases, the actual quality of their sex, women's ability to orgasm improves, men who are dealing with erectile dysfunction, that goes away. And I'm happy to talk about the science of that, but that's really exciting. Immune system gets better. I personally did not get sick for 8.5 years after I started meditating. I used to get sick like 5 or 6 times a year. So those are just a few. Oh, fertility increases. So if you're not looking to get pregnant, wrap it up, everybody.
Okay, that's good to know.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
All right.
So a lot of you guys may be thinking, meditation sounds great, but how can it help you improve your body? How can it help you improve your physique? First of all, meditation has been known to lower cortisol, right? Which will increase testosterone, right? You got to keep that cortisol low, but it'll also help you focus. And maybe what's overlooked is it'll decrease stress. And when you're stressed out, you may not want to go to the gym. Some people go to the gym for stress relief, but some people will be so stressed out they won't go. Or they're stressed out and they start reaching for comfort foods, right? They won't be able to focus on what they need to do. But I think instead of me trying to explain it, I thought I'd bring on Ben Pakulski, pro bodybuilder, to explain how meditation helps him and his clients actually achieve their fitness goals a lot faster.
Think of your body having a gas pedal and a brake. So 2 sides. One is called the sympathetic nervous system, which that's the gas pedal. So when you're stressed, your body hits the gas pedal, it releases more energy and your body has fuel. And then you have the brake, which is like what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which slows you down. So at all times, these things are in dynamic balance, just like when you're driving a car. Sometimes you got the pedal to the floor, sometimes you got the brake to the floor. So based on these things, oftentimes it's going to influence how your brain works, your recovery, your sleep, your stress, has influence over everything, your body composition. So if someone is in constantly, and I think this is very common in our society, they're not meditators. So a meditator would be like, I'm putting on the brake all the way down and I'm easing off the gas and I'm living in that state.
Giving the gas pedal.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I need to apply this parasympathetic stimuli, the meditation, the breathing, the walking, the recovery modalities to grow.
Oh, so when you're telling me that meditation will help you grow?
1000%. On many levels, right? So think of it like the best example I can give you is the gas and the brake. And if I'm always on the gas, my body's burning more carbohydrate, my body's burning more protein. It's just always burning. It's like your body's mobilizing energy. So if I brought a lion into the room right now and I sat it over there, what would happen to your muscle tone? What would happen to your heart rate? What would happen to your breathing rate? It'll go up. So most people are living in that state constantly, right? So their phone's reactive, their driving's reactive, their wife and spouse is reactive. They're always reacting to something, and their brain's going. So it's like their muscle tone's always in that state. Their breathing rate is heavy. Their blood pressure's up. That's constantly the default. So now imagine just like, hey, apply the brake. What happens? So now their body starts going into more recovery mode, right? So their body starts recovering and not always just burning through protein and carbohydrates. Going, okay, now I can be relaxed. Now I can rejuvenate and recover, and actually goes into more of a fat burning state and saves muscle. So that's one of the ways meditation can grow muscle.
There's allows you to rest. They always say you grow when you're resting.
Yeah, but resting is a continuum, right? Resting isn't just black and white. Like there's resting of like I'm in the Bahamas laying on the beach resting where I have no cell phone, nobody around, I'm there just connecting with nature and disconnecting from life, versus resting like sitting on my couch watching horror movies is a very different perspective. So
biologically it's different. It feels
completely different. Yeah, so ideally we're trying to learn to go deeper and deeper into rest. So I want to be able to lay on the beach in the Bahamas, in a deep meditative state of like, but I can do that like this, right? And I always, the example I give is the warrior and the monk, right? I want to be like a warrior when I'm in the gym. When I can turn on, I want to be able to access the highest state of arousal so I can run through a wall or fight, whatever. And I also want to be able to turn that off instantly and go into recovery. That's one of the ways meditation will build muscle.
All right, so one thing you're gonna see a lot throughout this video is references to how meditation will help decrease stress. And once your stress is decreased, that's gonna help you in a number of different ways.
When you're stressed all the time, because you're not making good decisions, it's so easy. You have to use so much willpower to like not drink the bottle of wine, to not eat the sleeve of cookies, to not eat the whole thing of fried chicken, because it's like when you're stressed, your body's looking for as much sugar and fat as it can find, because again, that cortisol is trying to store up for the emergency. And so when you get out of that fight or flight, you get rid of the cortisol. One, you're making better decisions. Two, your body's not storing up for the winter all the time. And you can start to hear your own intuition where your body's like, you know what? I'm actually craving green vegetables. That's weird. Or you know what? I do want some like olive oil on my soup. I feel like I just need like some more fat right now. Or it's like you can start to hear your body's real whispers instead of the screaming addiction of sugar and fat.
So one of the most important parts of meditation is the increased focus, being able to focus on one thing for a specific amount of time. If you can't do that, you can't be successful. And a lot of people have a difficult time with that. There's so many distractions, social media, YouTube, and tons of other distractions going on in the world. If you can't focus, there's no way you're going to accomplish your fitness goals.
Focus is a superpower. Like the ability to focus on training, the ability to focus on business, the ability to think deeper, the ability to focus on your girl. Like if you can't focus and you're having a conversation, you're around talking on your phone, she's not going to stick around, right? So the ability to focus is everything. So if you can train your focus in meditation, you can then take that into the gym and practice taking a set deeper and deeper, practice, learning how to do things more effectively. Like everything gets better just from that little bit of meditation.
So your workouts, that learning how to focus during your training your brain to focus. I think it's like training my brain.
1000%.
Like I'm training my brain to be able to focus, and I can take that into the gym and then have more focused, effective workout.
Exactly. And if you're trying to build your biceps and every time something goes by, it's like a squirrel, how's the training going to go, right? And that's most people. What do they do between sets? Scrolling, right? And there's a lot to that, but that's the foundation of it.
All right, if you know anything about me, then you know I love getting money. It's kind of all I think about, right? A lot of people try to criticize me for that. It's like, Brandon only cares about money, and I'm like, guilty. and I do care about money, and I want to get more money. I love it. And how can meditation help you get more money? You may be thinking that the two are uncorrelated, but they are 100%. Because as an entrepreneur, as an investor, you make money by the way you use your brain. And meditation is almost like training for your brain. It's almost like exercise for your brain. I want to bring in my mentor, Matt Gallant. He owns an 8-figure company called Bio Optimizers. Plus he has a bunch of other business ventures that he's into. Now, Matt attributes a significant portion of his success to his meditation practice. So I wanted to bring Matt on to explain how meditation can help you make more money.
One of the things, and like literally we'll start a lot of our team meetings with this question: what's your RAM level at? And I want to define the scale, because the scale is very important to understand. At 100%, you are overwhelmed. Overwhelm starts at 100%. Now you can go past 100%, right? Like there's levels of overwhelm. You know, but as soon as you feel overwhelmed, to me, you're at 100%. Now, I had a great lunch once with a guy who was the chief architect of one of the big travel booking sites. And he gave me a great systems perspective, which I've used as an analogy for RAM. He said that when they were scaling up really fast, they had to keep their servers at 25%. Why? Because when they would do huge media campaigns to get crazy spikes, if their servers were already kind of at the top end, 70, 80, 90%,
then they crash.
You crash. So in business, you know, you really want to try to keep your RAM around 70 to 80 at all times. Lower than that, you're probably not doing enough. And then more than that, but here's the thing, there's going to be times, going back to the spikes, and I've just gone through a couple of these in the last couple of weeks just to get stuff done, where you go and you push it almost to 100. But here's the thing. You can't live there, is what you're saying. You can't live there, but here's my whole point. People are filling their RAM with garbage. Okay. And this is where meditation helps, because, you know, all that emotional garbage, you know, trauma, worrying about the future, regretting the past, you know, worrying is in general. I mean, worry drains RAM. And when your RAM gets drained, again, goes back to creativity. You lose creativity and you lose energy. So meditation is a great opportunity to process these things and to lower your kind of garbage RAM levels. And I'm super vigilant in my own mind about just eliminating any garbage RAM, right? It's just like junk software that's running in the background. Now, here's the thing. Most people have no awareness of that RAM garbage.
They'll get a glimpse of it when they first start meditating, right? When it's like they can't focus for even a second, and they notice how much comes up, and it's like that's their whole day, and they don't realize it until they begin meditating. That's just something really interesting about dealing with your past traumas, and how when you deal with your past traumas, it helps clear your mind. It allows you to focus on your goals and attack them without the distractions of having to deal with negative things that happened to you in the past, so they don't affect your future in a negative way. Can you tell me more about that? Like, so a lot of people, when they start meditating you reference this in the book, a lot of past negative traumas and stuff start to come up, start to rear their head. Can you tell me more about that? Because that's interesting, you know?
Yeah, sure. So like I was saying earlier, every stress you've ever had gets stored in your body. So the divorce, the all-nighter, the breakup, you know, it's like it's left a little open window on your brain computer. And then because we have to survive, we minimize those windows, right? Just survive. I'm fine. Don't think about it. Just move on. Just keep making money. Just keep working out, you know. And once you start meditating, everything gets still, everything gets quiet. And then suddenly you feel safe enough because you've now taught your body that you can access your own fulfillment, your own bliss internally, and that you can do that on demand. And once your body feels safe in that, it actually feels safe enough to start to let go of that lifetime of trauma.
One of the big benefits of dealing with these past traumas and actually getting to the point where they don't affect you as much is you'll be less reactive. So when negative things happen in your life, and they will happen, right? Everybody knows when to die. You know, you're going to experience pain. Like bad things are going to happen, guaranteed. It's not the things that happen to you that will affect your life in a negative way as much as how you respond to them. And one of the things meditation will help you do is help you respond better to things in your life as opposed to just reacting. Let's say a popular YouTuber makes a YouTube video about you, you know, saying a bunch of things. There's two ways to respond. One, you can just address it, maybe be cool about it, make light of it, and not make a big deal about it. Or you can do what some of my other colleagues do, where they go off the handle, make a bunch of videos, come up with accusations, start attacking them. There's a lot of different ways to respond to things. That's just one example, but you're gonna have tons of examples of that in your life where it's really important for you to respond and not just react.
Now, this leads us to another huge part of business, and it's to reduce reactivity. And reactivity is another way to waste RAM.
Yeah.
But it's worse than that. And I know because I've been the perpetrator of bad reactions that hurt some of the people that worked for me or worked with me, business partners. And I don't do that anymore, thank God. And again, thanks to this process and thanks to what we're talking about, because, you know, if we go back to what's a reaction, and it relates to the trauma, it's your amygdala, the kind of guard dog, security dog in your brain that sees something that thinks is a threat because that thing, whatever this new thing that's in front of you, that's triggering you, right? That's a word that's people get these days. Triggering you is because it reminds you of something that hurt you in the past. And that's true. And when I say hurt, it can be made you mad, it could be made you scared, it could be made you sad. It's all of that, right? So you can backtrack every single reactive moment that you've ever had and think about, well, what did that remind me of? You know, well, that girl, she cheated on me. So, you know, whatever that happened in that moment, you see similar behavior with the new girl you're dating, and then bang, you're triggered, or vice versa, right? Usually. Again, women, you know, that have jealousy issues, usually that's why, you know, and the most simplest example a lot of people can relate with is, you know, whether you've been bitten by a dog or you know someone who's been bitten by a dog, usually there's a lifelong fear, even though it's like the most docile dog in the world, is this dog gonna bite me?
Because I always took you know what meditation helped me, I don't want to sidetrack too much. But what I haven't done the extensive stuff that you've done, but I've been meditating for 10 years, right? You know, on my own. And what has helped me is really become like less reactive, to the point where within reason, almost anything that happens, like I'm kind of cool with it, right? And I have to, and I even, it might not be ideal, but I take the approach that, you know, okay, I can't control the wind, but I can always adjust my sails, and I just act accordingly. Okay, how do I win under these new circumstances? Instead of trying to fight against everything or just react, I feel like I respond versus react. Like, just instead of just gut, you know, just react, you know, do whatever, you know, like a child or a animal, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can actually use my prefrontal cortex and think, okay, how can I use this situation to actually benefit me, or just make the most out of it and be happy within it?
One of the most important benefits you're gonna get from meditation is the ability to focus. You might be thinking, hey, I can focus now, and maybe you can, but meditation will help you focus even more. See, when you're trying to accomplish something big, when you're trying to make moves in business, almost all businesses fail. 80% of them go out of business in the first 5 years, and only 5% of those businesses that survive actually reach the $1 million mark. I built several $1 million businesses and one multi-million-dollar business. My mentor, Matt, has built an 8-figure business. We're talking over $10 million, and he attributes his ability to make more money, more of this paper, from his ability to focus, which is a direct result of his meditation practice.
You probably heard of the Pomodoro technique, which is 25-5. So that means 25 minutes of laser beam focus and then 5-minute break. And I started with that. And this is, you know, I'm going to correlate my ability to focus with the amount of training that I've done. Because prior to starting the neurofeedback journey,
that's the kind of meditation that you practice when you say the neurofeedback.
Well, the neurofeedback is using technology to accelerate the speed of your learning and meditation by literally, and this to me is a conservative estimate, 100 times.
Oh,
like 100 times faster compared to without it. And that's not an exaggeration. That's what I've seen. I've observed it. I've experienced it. I've talked to neuroscientists that are experts.
No, seriously, because once you started doing this, and then I noticed, I remember when you first started, and I was around you. Then it might have been a year or two since we were together in person, and I was last time you were in New York, and I just noticed a calm around your energy. It was weird to sound without sounding too woo woo. I rarely meet someone with that kind of calm confidence, right? And since then, you made over $10 million in business, right? So I'm assuming that neurofeedback sort of meditation has been helping you with that.
What if you could control your emotions no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what's happening in outside circumstances, no matter what other people are doing, your emotions can remain under your control. This is one of the most powerful things you can do in not only life, but in business in general. You need it in business because things are gonna go crazy. Things are gonna go crazy. You're gonna have a bunch of problems that you have to solve as an entrepreneur. And if your state is not in control, if you can't control your state, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall victim to whatever's going on outside, in the outside world, whatever your employees are doing, whatever your competitors are doing. But imagine if you can stay focused, if you can control your state and control your emotions while all that's happening. That's a superpower. And meditation is the only way I know to accomplish it.
Every emotion and states, emotions, you could almost
like synonyms.
Yeah, it's close. To me, states are a little more, combinations of emotions and things. But every state, every emotion has a corresponding neurochemical cocktail that comes with it. Now, with sales and marketing, the key and the masters are able to activate the right set of emotions and neurochemical cocktails that make people feel good and feel like and want to buy, and the conversions go up. And even content, and in content to me is marketing. And I remember analyzing some of your best videos of all time, and they were more like motivational vibes. But if we look at it from a neurochemical cocktail perspective, there's no mystery why that was so successful. You were giving people their drug of choice.
Yeah.
Your body is a pharmacy. Okay. That's a very important point. Your body is always pumping out all kinds of neurochemicals that, again, that's what pharmaceutical drugs do. Of course, your body's a much healthier version, and that's the way to go. But still though, anyways, we could go super deep into it. Again, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, noradrenaline, adrenaline, cortisol, it's all about hitting. It's not, and it's kind of like music. If you start approaching the brain like mixing, and I know you come from the music industry, you'll understand this analogy really well. You can't just crank the bass and have no mids, have no trebles or no other instruments. And that's what you want your brain to become. And again, we could go hyper deep into the neurochemical side, because that's where you can really start bringing in some cool other instruments that just change the whole vibe.
All right, so a lot of you clicked on this video because you saw sex in the title. It's not clickbait. It was not clickbait. Meditation can improve your sex life. Not only can it make you more sexy because you're less stressed out, you're in a better mood, you can control your state. Now you can work out better, you make more money, so you're gonna be more attractive. But now once you actually attract the person, how can you make the sex a little better?
You've alluded to this a little bit. How does meditation improve your sex life? I know there's a whole chapter in it on the book, but I know that my audience would like to hear more about that.
Yeah, happy to talk about that. And that'll be a good one to close on. We'll bring it home with a bang.
Yeah, I'm waiting to the end.
So here's the deal. When we're stressed, not only are you sick, stupid, and slow, but if that adrenaline and cortisol can in a very material way, impact your sex drive. It can impact your performance. It can impact the level of pleasure that you can receive when you're meditating. So if women have too much cortisol, we become physically incapable of orgasming, because basically the body is so concerned with the fight or flight, with a predatory attack, that the idea of procreation, the idea of pleasure, is like way on the back burner. As a matter of fact, if your body thinks a tiger is about to attack it, it's going to numb and deaden all of your sensory perceptors. You don't want to feel the fangs going into your neck. So it's like numb, numb, numb. Right? And like,
so it's not my fault. I mean, it's not the guy's fault. It's the
like, babe, it's not me. You got to meditate.
You just not meditating. I was doing my thing. I don't know what you talking about. You just need to meditate more. Here, take this book.
But look, I've actually had a lot of women write me and be like, Emily, I have my first orgasm of my whole life, or I have my first vaginal orgasm. Like women who were only able to orgasm externally, like were suddenly like they became more sensitive internally, which changed sex for them. I've had women this is not exactly sex, but like women at like 41, 42, 43, not even candidates for IVF, suddenly change their whole fertility markers, having the fertility of an 18-year-old. And then for men, which I know your audience is more men, if you have too much adrenaline, which is the other stress hormone that happens when we're in fight or flight, if that becomes chronic for you, it's a vasoconstrictor, not a vasodilator. So if you take Viagra or Cialis, those are vasodilators to allow more blood flow into your penis, which gives you an erection. When you have too much adrenaline, it's a vasoconstrictor. So you're not having as much blood flow to your penis. So if you're stressed for too long, it can actually change like the length and power of your erection. And same thing with like that stress thing. It's like your body thinks it's being attacked. It's not interested in procreating, right? It's like, I gotta protect this meat suit. I don't want to make new meat suits. Right. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the number one reason that cohabitating couples in the US do not have as much sex as they would like is that they say that they're too tired. Right? Like how many times have you felt that or heard that? Like, not tonight, honey, I'm exhausted. I'm just so tired. Can we just fall asleep watching Game of Thrones? Can we just, I'll just stay in bed scrolling through Instagram and pass out. Right. And so if you do Ziva, it's a 15-minute meditation. You do your second one around like 4, 5, 6 p.m. That's the equivalent of an hour-long nap. So you're going to have this hit of energy and productivity and joy and bliss and feeling good for the rest of your night. So you're going to have more energy for your partner. You're going to be able to meet them where they are. And then the last thing that happens, which is kind of cool, is that you increase your neural activity, which means that you increase mirror neurons. So mirror neurons are like, my brain has boomerangs and your brain has boomerangs. And they come out and they dance with each other and they report back. So mirror neurons are why porn is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's why you can receive pleasure by watching someone else have pleasure, right? And it's why, like, if I were to cut my hand right now, if I were to like cut my hand, you'd be like it would make you hurt even though I'm not touching you. That's mirror neurons. So as you start meditating, you increase your mirror neural activity. You start to become like more receptive. You receive more pleasure from your partner's pleasure, which is going to make you a more generous lover. It becomes an upward spiral versus like, what have you done for me lately? Let's get this over with.
So okay, no, that makes a lot of sense, especially like the cortisol. Like, yeah, it makes sense. You can't orgasm, or a woman can't orgasm if she's stressed out, right? Or like a guy, it's difficult to get an erection or maintain one if he's like really stressed out about something. That makes total sense.
Yeah. And you just become more confident and more comfortable in your body, which is sexy to everybody.
All right, so I hope this video has given you a better understanding of how meditation can actually help you focus more, how meditation can help reduce stress, and most importantly, in my opinion, how meditation can help you control your state so you can actually control your emotions instead of letting outside events and other people control your emotions. You can regain control, actually influence the emotions of other people. This will all help you build your physique into the physique you want, help you make more money in business, investing, and help you improve your love life significantly. Now, those aren't the only benefits of meditation. There's a lot more, way more than I wanted to go over in this video, but I felt like those were the things that my audience would be most interested in. If you want to know more about meditation, then I highly suggest you read Emily's book, Stress Less, Accomplish More. I've been meditating for over 10 years, But it wasn't until I read that book about 2 years ago that really changed things for me. It took my meditation practice to a whole new level. And it's not a coincidence that I've made way more money since reading that book. It wasn't only because of that book, obviously, right? But what I read in that book and how it's helped me really control my mental state and control my focus, I was able to apply that with all the other stuff I learned about business and investing, and I just made so much more money. And I'm a lot happier. So I highly suggest you read that book. This is not a commercial for the book. You know, she did not pay me to endorse it. I just highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. The audio book is fantastic, right? If you want Emily to read it to you, that's dope. Whatever you do, start meditating. I'm telling you, I do it 2 times a day, 15 minutes every day, no exceptions. Every aspect of my life has improved as a direct result to my meditation practice. And I believe you can have similar results. Hey, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Let YouTube know what's up. This way it will spread this message to more people if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications, all that jazz. And I'd like to thank my guests, Emily Fletcher, Ben Pakulski, and Matt Gallant for contributing to this video. We'll post links down below where you can actually follow them on various platforms if you're interested. And leave a comment below if you would like me to release the full interviews of each of them. Again, I'm Brandon Carter, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.